When will Deuce Knight flip his commitment from Notre Dame to Auburn? That's what we're going to figure out in this video. I got Jeffrey Lee from Auburn Live. He actually had a new report out yesterday that sort of laid out a timeline for when Deuce Knight, the quarterback Deuce Knight, could flip his commitment to Auburn. We're going to get into it, but first, Tiger fans, make sure you guys are locked in. Hit subscribe to the On3 Recruit channel. We talked to Auburn recruiting all offseason long. Guess what? We're going to do it all throughout the season as well, so jump on board and hit subscribe for me, please. All right, let's bring in Jeffrey Lee, and I just got one question for you. Is this an if or a when it comes to Deuce Knight flipping his commitment from Notre Dame to Auburn?
I still think it's a win, Josh. I do. I haven't heard anybody lose confidence, at least on Auburn's end, that it will happen. It's just a matter of when will it happen.
All right, so that is the question. That's what we're going to answer here. Has he yet set a decision date? Because I could have sworn I had heard the 28th was going to be when it went down. Today, as we tape this, it's the 29th.
I had heard the same date, and I'm sure it was from different sources, but this was weeks ago when after the Big Cat visit or the visit for that weekend, he was telling folks August the 28th is the date he had circled on his calendar. It was the Wednesday before his senior season begins and the Wednesday before his Auburn visit, and it just all lined up. And then the 28th came and went with no announcement. However, but even before the 28th, he was telling people close to him that he had circled now his new date was going to be the following weekend, which is September 7th to September 8th. And the reason for that is they've got a big rivalry game next Friday night, which is September the 6th. He didn't want to take the attention away from his team, the game. He didn't want the week leading up to that game to be all about him and his commitment or his flip, his decision. So he wanted to wait and get that game behind him before he publicly announced. Now, will things be taken care of before them, at least behind the scenes? I do think that is the plan. I think the plan for him right now is to visit Auburn on Saturday, just to watch the game, to visit with the coaches, to meet with the recruits, hang out with the recruits Saturday night, and leave Sunday. I do think he does plan to inform Auburn officially Sunday before he leaves that, yes, I am going to flip to Auburn, and here's when I'm going to do it. Now, Josh, you know as well as I do that Auburn wants to get this done 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so I even wrote it in my war room on Wednesday that, you know, how it is for recruiting. The kid's plan, you know, if Auburn pushes for him, listen, let's go ahead and knock this out today. Let's get all this done. You'll have the rest of the week to prepare for your game, and you know you can go on about it. So I'm not saying that it will not happen this weekend. I'm not saying it will not happen before next weekend, but I do know that as of Tuesday evening, he was telling some people close to him that was his plan, was to inform Auburn on Sunday and then make his public announcement the following weekend.
So is there any concern that Notre Dame could talk him out of it? I mean, there's a week buffer there. If he's leaning in one direction after a week, we know how recruiting goes. You could be leaning in another. So is that why, you know, Auburn's been trying to get this done?
Yeah, I think they want to get this done. They want to get it out there. They want everyone to know that he is in with us. I think his way of pacifying Auburn, if that's the word you want to use. Obviously, that's the word I chose to use. But, hey, listen, Sunday, before I leave, I'm giving you my word face-to-face. I want to tell you, Hugh Freeze, I'm coming to Auburn. I don't want you to worry about anything. Now, if history is any indication, Auburn coach Freeze will want him, before he says that, to inform Notre Dame. Right. To inform Notre Dame that, listen, this is my decision.
Okay.
I'm going to announce it next weekend, but I want y'all to know before it gets out in the public. I think that will happen. I think for Deuce Knight to be able to inform Hugh Freeze that he's coming and Hugh Freeze to accept that, he will have to tell Notre Dame that he's not coming. So right. I think, call off the dogs if that's what you want to do. I'll allow it next weekend, but we need to know something today.
All right, so Deuce Knight, top 10 quarterback, number 7 overall. If he flips his commitment from Notre Dame to Auburn, who's coming with him? I mean, we always see this especially with quarterbacks. Who are some of the top recruits that are maybe tied to Deuce Knight?
believe it or not, man, there are two guys, two 5-star guys that I'm going to be keeping a close. And one of them is understandable. Caleb Cunningham, the 5-star wide receiver from Mississippi. He's committed to Alabama. He's been very high on Auburn. He left Auburn visit. You know, Auburn's the top team. And then 2 weeks later, he committed to Alabama.
Yeah.
Definitely Caleb Cunningham is one to watch. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but certainly a guy that we will be tracking much more if Deuce Knight commits to Auburn. The second guy, believe it or not, is Andrew Babalola, the 5-star offensive tackle from Kansas.
Okay.
Now, we haven't heard those two mentioned a lot, but I think it's more of the public perception of being in this. I mean, you're talking top 2 to 3 class potentially.
Yeah.
Before it's all over with. So I really think it could make a difference, maybe not a big difference, but it could make a difference for Andrew Babalola, certainly for Caleb Cunningham. Those are two guys that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Sam Turner is another one, the Georgia Tech wide receiver commitment. So, you know, any of those guys, those receiving targets that are still on the board for Auburn would certainly be guys we'll be tracking.
All right, Auburn fans, you got to love it. Sitting at number 5 in the On3 industry rankings right now, but not done. Deuce Knight still not in this class yet, but he could be soon. Who do you think is going to join him? Let us know. Comment section below. Well, you've made it to the end of today's video, but there's hundreds more videos on the On3 Recruits channel for you to check out. And also, while you're here, hit subscribe.